Hey friend, have you had some disappointment lately? Frustration that you keep having battles daily? Or annoyance that the kids just pick and pick and pick at each other? Or overwhelm that your kids have been saying such awful things when they're angry? Friend, today we're going to tap into the primary tool that I think is important for us to have in our tool belt so that we decrease disappointment, annoyance, and overwhelm. And it's one simple phrase that I'm going to give you today. Hello and welcome to the Sustainable Parenting Podcast. Let me tell you, friend, this place is different. We fill that gap between gentle parenting and harsh discipline that's really missing to parent with kindness and firmness at the same time, and give you the exact steps to be able to parent in ways that are more realistic and effective, and for that reason, finally feel sustainable. Welcome. And before we dive in, I quickly want to highlight Ladybird Mom, who left a recent review, who said, "My husband and I and our kids are so grateful to Flora. We've been to a number of parenting classes and looked at so many online resources. Flora's the only person who helped us make changes that showed a positive effect within the first few days. We love seeing so many positive changes in our family with simple and easy to use strategies. Thank you so much." Friend, if you'd like to leave a review to share how sustainable parenting has been impacting your life, I would be so grateful. It helps others to know what's possible in their families too. And you can do so easily by scrolling to the bottom of all episodes, clicking on that 5th star, and leaving a comment. Also, be sure you subscribe to the podcast so that you regularly get the downloads each week and don't miss a single tool and strategy to be parenting with more kindness and firmness at the same time, so parenting finally feels sustainable. Now let's dive into this frustration, disappointment, and overwhelm, and the singular tool that can be transformational. I want to tell you a story of a parent that I was working with. Jenny was a stay-at-home mom with a young toddler, a 3-year-old, and a 5-year-old. And she found herself regularly frustrated and overwhelmed and disappointed in her role as a mom. When she came to me, she said, with her head downward cast and her eyes drooping and a sigh, "Flora, I just don't know if I can keep doing this. I have a master's degree in my profession, and I gave it up to be a stay-at-home mom because this is what I thought I wanted to do. But I'm exhausted, and I don't feel like I'm doing this well. I yell at my kids. They keep pushing boundaries. Bedtime's a mess. They're constantly doing the things I've asked them to not do. It seems like no matter what I do, I can't calm my son down from his upsets. I just don't know if I'm cut out for this." And as we use the singular tool that I'm going to give you today, Jenny, within 2 weeks, told me, "I feel different. There's a lightness. There's a improvement in the kids not pushing my boundary. And there is an improvement in me not feeling so overwhelmed. We're still having challenges, but I don't feel so heavy by them. And I feel like things are getting better." So here's what Jenny did. She used this tool that we call adjusting the expectation gap. The expectation gap. Have you ever heard of this before? It's this measuring stick, basically, that says the size of the distance between how we think things should be and how they actually are can often be a measure of the size of our stress. The size of that space between how we think it should be and how it actually is like this window. Picture the top being the should and the bottom being reality. The bigger that gap, the bigger the window opening, the bigger our stress, the bigger our sense of overwhelm and disappointment and frustration. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, okay, for us all to be happier as parents, we'll just give up any hope or expectation that they should be polite and respectful and responsible. Okay, hear me out, friend. That is not what we said to Jenny. But what I did say to Jenny is, you know what I notice is a lot of what sounds so stressful and overwhelming is not the fact that the kids are battling, but the story you tell yourself in your brain when they're battling. When they are not getting along with each other, you have two roads. You can go down the high expectation road, which says they should not be doing this. They should get along well. They should be well behaved. They should always be just, perfectly nice to each other. And when they're not, I feel like I'm failing. We tell ourselves the story that we're failing. The other road with a smaller expectation gap says, oh, look, they're battling with each other. Of course they are. They just landed on the planet 3 years ago, 5 years ago, even 8 or 9 years ago. They don't yet know how to do this thing of conflict management. I'm going to work on teaching them. Yes, it takes effort, but it totally decreases the overwhelm when we have that expectation brought down. You feel the difference as you hear those two stories that you can tell yourself. Similarly, if the kids get so big in their emotions and we're like, why do you have to get so worked up? Why does he get so mad? Why does he get so sad? Then we are filled with the story that is also saying, I must be failing somehow, that I can't seem to talk my kid down from this place, that I can't seem to prevent him getting so angry. The road that we took Jenny down instead was what she started to define to me as I'm telling them they are allowed to kick, scream, and throw things. And I'm like, ooh, tell me more about that. She's like, instead of being like, don't do that, don't be so angry, I'm like, you're allowed to be super angry. And if you need to throw things and kick, you are welcome to do that in your room. You are welcome to just punt your stuffed animal across your room. You are welcome to be in the safe space that we're going to create together and in a nurturing way be like, you've got that space, honey. I'm not mad at you that you're angry. I'm noticing that you're angry and I'm acknowledging that's a normal feeling and I'm going to give you a space to express it that does not hurt people or property. That's the change in the expectation gap from shoulds and shame and blame to a place of, yes, of course this is going on. This is a normal human experience and we're going to make a plan for it. And she's like, it just freed me and it's calming him down faster. So I'm not so exhausted trying to talk him down off the anger curve. And he is feeling really like improved confidence that he's also being allowed to feel his feelings. And I'm not like criticizing who he is. I'm normalizing this feeling. From the phrase that comes to mind that really embodies this so fully is something I saw on a hospital website even before I had kids, when I was first learning in my master's degree in specializing in youth and adolescents and counseling them. It said, a child's job is to test rules and boundaries to see what happens when they do. That's it. It is their job. Boy, do they clock in some days, like for overtime from the moment their feet hit the ground till the evening. There are other days they kind of settle in a bit, but it is their job to test rules and boundaries, to push here and there to see what the rules are in the world. They don't know them, and their best way, just instinctually, to figure out what those boundaries are is to push against them and to see if you really mean it. So what is our job? Our job is to hold those boundaries in a kind and firm way and to teach by teaching, not just by correcting. Friend, these are the things that really get us to find more joy and ease in parenthood. Lowering that expectation gap from you shouldn't be this way, to, of course, It is your job to test rules and boundaries to see what happens when you do. And friend, if you're needing help to equip you with how to hold those kind and firm boundaries, that's what we're about here at Sustainable Parenting. We offer lunch and learn workshops that are noon once a month on Wednesday. You can find that information at sustainableparenting.com/workshop, or you can go to the information in the description of this episode and schedule a clarity call with me to talk about one-on-one work. For now, friend, I hope this tool of the expectation gap being adjusted can help you have the same results as Jenny, so that you're parenting with kindness and firmness at the same time, and parenting finally feels sustainable. Don't forget to join us next week, friend, as we're going to talk about 3 keys to getting kids to listen the first time. The first time you ask them to do something. Catch you then.